been some time since I did one of these haul videos where I talk to you about some Quo-related items that I picked up recently. What I wanted to highlight was a couple of Quo-related items that I picked up just a few days ago, and it kind of happened by accident, as these things do. It's sort of an act of spontaneity, because Andy Bown did an interview with a YouTube channel and podcast called the Keyboard Chronicles, which is very good. Go and check it out. And they covered momentarily his solo career. And I am somewhat of an avid collector of pretty much all of the solo careers that that Quo members have had. I try and get some of their stuff outside of the band, and Andy Bown is no exception. And they were talking about Unfinished Business, which came out on Cherry Red Records in 2011 or so. And I realised that I didn't have a copy, certainly not a physical one, because back in the day, I kind of favoured more digital, and it was like £2 or £3 difference, and I was a student at the time, so money was a little bit tight. Well, now I don't have access to that digital account anymore, so I thought it's time to do it. That interview reminded me, and so I went on to eBay, and I typed it in, and there were the selection was sort of very varied. There were some quite expensive. That it's also been re-released recently on another label, so that those were kind of in there. And then I noticed one at the center of the screen that was from a vendor called WeBuyGames, and it's one of those We Buy Books type things I've talked about before. And essentially it was up there for £3.97, and I thought, well, that's worth a punt, if anything, to get a physical copy. And so I start looking around, thinking, well, it's free postage, I might as well see if I can get anything else. Is there anything else I don't have? And my brain instantly goes to solo careers, and I start thinking about the ones I don't have. And I realise, for John Rhino Edwards, the only one I don't have is Rhino's Revenge 2, which came out in 2015. So I search on this account, and then I realise that it's there. And not only is it there, it's there for, what, about £5.70 for a second-hand copy. And so I think, oh, I'll have me some of that. And so here they are. Let me go through and kind of give my thoughts on these albums, because I've heard them both before, but it's just great to get a hard copy. This is Andy Bown's Unfinished Business from 2010, 2011, something like that. It's around 15 years ago now. And just as ever, you know, Andy Bown's albums are always very eclectic. And this one, I guess, is more kind of solid, I guess. There's more of a single or double genre in there, but it still has that level. You know, there's lots of different styles at play here. You've got the sort of Quo-like stuff like Ruby and Roy, which was released, I think, as a single and played on radio too. And I thought that was a little bit of a mistake, but I'll tell you why in another video. We've got the bluesiness of Rubber Gloves. There's sort of those eccentric Andy Bown numbers like When the Lights Went On, which is autobiographical about his career, and stuff like Tick My Box, which is sort of one of those Chaz and Dave listing That's What I Like type songs, where he just goes through a bunch of stuff, and it's as kind of interesting and eclectic and eccentric as ever. It's just classic Andy Bown. This album, some people liked it, some people didn't. His voice has changed a lot over the years, and I think the most sort of traditionally Andy Bown song that was on here that could have been sung back in the day was the country tinged A Matter of Time, very much in the vein of Comeback Romance, All Is Forgiven. A lot of the stuff on that album also has this country flavour. I happen to like the vocal styling on this album, and the music as well is absolutely impeccable. And this is the first time I've seen a physical copy of one of these. I love this image on the back, which must be taken from the Rubber Gloves sessions, which there was a music video for Rubber Gloves directed by John Keeling, which is well worth checking out. This front cover, obviously, Unfinished Business, all those albums in the 70s, and then as a solo artist, pretty much, not there with Quo all those decades. We've got a 1970s image of Andy Bown from back in the day, and then a modern one here looking on. Well worth checking out. I can't wait to spin this on my hi-fi. And another one as well here, like I said, Rhino's Revenge 2, released in 2015 on Milano Music. This album, like the other one, is extremely eclectic. You've got your Quo type numbers on there, the stuff that could have been performed by Quo, like, I don't know, Cougar, Busy Doing Nothing, and what's the other one? One Note Blues, which I know Rhino has played live. You've got sort of those eccentric / sort of social commentary, like Famous. This one has also got that song called My Name is Stan, which is about John's dog, which really gets in your head as well. That one also could have been done by Quo at any time in the last sort of 25 or so years. This was his second album, and it was released 15 years after the first one. I've heard this on streaming, but not for a little while. There's a few songs on here I kind of return to, but I haven't really had the full album experience. So at some point, I will not only do a review of this product, but I will also do sort of an overview ranking video, ranking all of his albums to date, perhaps even the live album as well that came out a few years ago. So that is Rhino's Revenge 2 with The Gesture on the front. A little note that I kind of want to put in here about buying from a pre-owned seller like WeBuyBooks or WeBuyGames is that it's just sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and these things are incredibly niche. They're sitting in the warehouse, not being played, not being looked at. And for me, for a lower price, which is a great starting off point for collectors who perhaps, can't afford to buy it new or missed out on it the first time that it came out. It's their chance to give it a new home, one which is appreciated. And, I've been wanting these items for some time, and it's great to be able to have them on my shelf, to be able to take them off and ultimately enjoy them. So these are my two purchases that I made recently, 2 additions to my solo Quo collection, and it cost me, like I say, around £9 to £10 with free postage, and it was here within a couple of days, extremely quick. So tell me, have you heard either of these albums? Do they sit in your collection? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below, and please do rate, comment and subscribe for more Quo discussion, interviews, album reviews and much more. I've been Jamie Dyer, thanks for watching, bye bye for now.